Pro Wrestling Weekly. For over 20 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment radio talk.
Is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232.
You really do sound like a
grizzled old vet. Is that where you were going with there?
Yes.
To not get you in trouble?
Oh, I'll get in trouble at some point. Believe me, I'll do something.
Well, to keep you out of trouble in this case, at least.
And now, here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Ooh, I'm getting good at this radio thing.
Yeah. It only took you 5.5 years.
I'm not good at it yet. I'm starting to.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
Slowest escalator upward. Shut up! There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo as Twitch is, well, we'll put it this way. I will give you what he had texted me, and I'll give you what I think might have actually happened. No, it's not a booking thing. He says that he's got a really bad sinus infection. I'm thinking just given what the date is, given that it's January 4th, Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'm thinking that he might have been up for that. And because that was in the overnight, because, you know, that's kind of how that works with the whole time zone difference thing. You know, it started around 1 a.m. Eastern today, so only about 11 hours ago. So, yeah, I could definitely see that if he was up most of the night, wouldn't feel like coming in here. How true is that? I don't know, but that's just my theory. For all I know, he could have a pretty bad sinus infection because he does, A, have a history of it, and B, there's definitely something going around, as I know I'm not 100%. So I did give Ted a warning that I may not be able to go the full 9 innings in this particular game, as it were, to use a baseball reference here. But I'm going to try to go bell to bell here, but it's a little rough here. But a lot of things to get into, including well, an interesting twist in the Bobby Lashley and Lana wedding. There's a lot of New Year's nuptials going on here, whether it's various engagements, weddings, things of that nature. Have to keep that in mind here. New Year's nuptials. It just kind of rattled off the brain, and it kind of worked well. Also, a noted name, a Hall of Famer, in fact, that's now under AEW's umbrella. And things going from bad to worse for a current injured WWE superstar. And I'm going to tread very carefully on this one. Mostly carefully, but very carefully. Also, CM Punk taking things to Twitter, or actually Instagram, I should say, and kind of bring a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff as to how things might have been different some 6 years ago now, as far as the landscape heading into WrestleMania 30, thanks to a little behind-the-scenes thing. We'll talk about that, plus Corey Graves having a little bit of fun on Twitter. That's where I was getting ahead of myself on, just to name a few. But first, we're going to get into the Snake Who Cried Wolf. Yes, Randy Orton, it was reported, was injured during a match at this past Sunday's WWE live event in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Now I'm hungry for chocolate. Orton was wrestling AJ Styles when he suffered a left knee injury, and the match was stopped, and Orton was helped to the back. And WWE, they waited until the following night on Raw to acknowledge it, and, well, Orton ended up coming out, and he made an in-ring announcement about the injury while on crutches, and here, courtesy of USA Network, Monday Night Raw, here's the Viper, Randy Orton.
Well, I'm going to be out a very long time, but the part that kind of breaks my heart the most is there's a good chance that I won't be able to come back. No matter what happens, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that somebody gets RKO'd at WrestleMania. And that is my promise to you. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Hold up, time out, hold up. Time out is, hold on. You mean to tell me that the next time I get to fight you in that ring is WrestleMania? Maybe I'll get to fight you at WrestleMania? Is that it, Randy? Is that what you're saying? You look mad, Randy. Are you mad? Is that it? Of course you're mad. Well, what are you gonna do? Huh? What's the Viper gonna do? Is he gonna strike? You know what? You said this wasn't the time, but I feel like it is to do something I haven't done since I was like 5 years old. It goes something like this. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching. I touched you. How bad's that knee, huh? You know, I feel like that kid in school that picks on the other kid who can't do a damn thing about it. And I know that wasn't you, but it is tonight.
Don't be a bully, be a star.
You really are hurt, aren't you? Good thing for you, Randy. I am a patient man. So I will wait till WrestleMania to take that leg of yours, put it in the calf crusher, and not only make you tap out, but retire you. See you at WrestleMania, buddy. Oh, Randy, I forgot something.
Kick the one crutch out from under him.
AJ, you know what? What is it, Randy? You know what big difference is between you and I? You're patient. I'm not.
Oh, the Viper strikes! Look at this! He's not hurt at all! It was a ruse! Randy Orton just suckered AJ Styles in big time! Just struck AJ Styles. The three most dangerous letters in all of sports entertainment. RKO. Take a look at this.
Yes, Vic Joseph and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. So the surprise RKO. Now, what I find interesting about it is you very seldom see an injury or any kind of an angle from a house show. I know we talked about it with title changes earlier, how you don't see that too often for untelevised events, but you see how that kind of played into what was going on with Raw. And it's something that you haven't really seen before, and I think it's rather clever and innovative. It gives you that feeling of, man, anything can happen at a WWE event, and it's going to hopefully drive up sales to the various non-televised events and non-pay-per-view events. So it's a smart move. I'm curious to see what else they're going to do with it. What other tricks there are up the sleeve. And from what I was told, this was a Paul Heyman idea, and bravo, Paul, bravo. Leave it at that. Now, I have a feeling that at least some of this may also have been Paul's influence. And that has to do with the whole Bobby Lashley Lana wedding that went on Raw as well. Because it definitely felt like a mix of mid-90s ECW with a splash of Attitude Era. Whether it was a good thing, well, if you haven't seen it, I'd say hop onto the Tube of You to take a look and judge for yourself. But for those who didn't see it and aren't quite there to access it, the fans, they were basically waiting for Rusev to interject at some point. And it did kind of go on rather long, and it showed Lana getting more and more flustered throughout, almost a Bridezilla type thing, for lack of a better way of phrasing it. But there were a few surprises at the inevitable speak now or forever hold your peace part, which everybody kind of waits for that, as you know. All right, where's the twist coming? Who's going to interject themselves? What's going to happen? So first there was Lana's first husband, and I use that in air quotes, who was, after having some unscrupulous words, making his way down to the ring and into the ring, ends up getting chokeslammed by Bobby Lashley. So then the minister tries again with the speak now or forever hold your peace, and next thing you know, it's apparently Bobby Lashley's first wife, who, before she could even get into the ring, was knocked off of the apron by a rather savage Lana. At this point, with each of these people coming out, the crowd, hysterically, were starting to chant, "Jerry, Jerry," as if it was an episode of the Jerry Springer Show, because that's kind of how this all came about. And, the next person who spoke now and didn't forever hold their peace, that definitely put it into effect, as Liv Morgan, who hadn't been on TV for a while, she came out and had declared her love, but no, not for Bobby Lashley. Nope, it was for Lana. Because in 2020, we need a quote-unquote hot lesbian angle for shock value. Yeah, it's not a thing. It's not shocking. It's you're trying to reach for something that's not there. Like it might have gotten away with that in '95, with Kimona Wanalea and Francine, but Beulah rather. I'm sorry, Beulah and Kimona Wanalea, but that's 25 years ago. Different times now. But yeah, almost adding to that ECW-like feel was that ended up leading to a brawl between Morgan and Lana that. Basically, the only thing that was missing was Joey Styles. Cat fight! We've got a cat fight! Yeah, that was pretty much the only thing that was missing. And then, as if all of that wasn't enough, to put the icing on the cake, literally and figuratively, out of the giant wedding cake that was there in the ring, jumped Rusev, who proceeded to attack Lashley. And that was right after the minister gave after the third interruption, gave kind of the equivalent of the short version from Spaceballs of, man, yes, woman, yes, okay, you're married. There's something along those lines. Although I think in Spaceballs it was, do you? I do. Do you? I do. Good, you're married. Kiss her. That sort of thing. But, yeah, so again, better or worse, you can check it out. I'll leave it to your better judgment. But for me, I don't know. It was definitely all over the place, and it I guess was going for that. They were going to be kitschy and over the top, and not everything in wrestling needs to be serious, but not everything is going to be a slapstick sideshow either. So you have to have a balance. Whether this did that, again, I'll leave that up to you. Okay, and I just heard back from Twitch here. So he is actually watching Wrestle Kingdom now. So he was not up, allegedly, not up late last night watching it, as he's currently watching it now. But yeah, he says he's not in a good way. So I mean, he doesn't even have the voice to talk, and you know him, he has no problem taking a microphone if it's available. So if he is not feeling up to it, then I know something's wrong. That's why I'm thinking, all right, maybe there is a shred of legitimacy to this. It is hard to say. Well, we're going to come back here. We're going to get into more of the various nuptials. Also, some good news for fans in the UK as far as a little bit of a TV deal. Also, a WWE Hall of Famer that's now on board and All Elite. And a few other noted returns that came from last night on SmackDown. Yeah, a lot going on in a short period of time here, to say the least. So we'll cover as much as we can here over the course of the remaining time here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
The Bristol Borough Community Action Group Food Bank at 99 Wood Street in Bristol has been serving Lower Bucks County since 1971. It's your monthly tax-deductible donations that allow us to provide food for hundreds of households each month. Please consider a generous one-time or recurring monthly donation at www.givebucks.org. That's www.givebucks.org. Help us help those in need. Please donate today. The Bristol Borough Community Action Group, 99 Wood Street, Bristol, PA 19007.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
More people are online every day to check and pay their bills. Now you can have your BCWSA utility bill delivered electronically. Enrollment couldn't be easier. Just go to bcwsa.net or call 800-222-2068. With e-billing, you have control to see your bills when you want, set reminders for each new bill, and best of all, the service is free. Sign up for e-billing at bcwsa.net. Your partner for a safer environment, BCWSA. Proven.
He's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. I'm going to break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo. Twitch is fighting a sinus infection and watching Wrestle Kingdom now because it's 11 hours after it started. And yeah, it's... I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be up at 1 in the morning watching these things. But hey, it's a whole time zone thing. It's what can you do? But we're going to go a little bit more local than Japan as we go over to the phones and take a look at the local scene, courtesy of Ed from Northeast Philly. Ed, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Sorry to hear about Lucas being sick.
It's going around. Like I said, I'm here. How much of me is here is hard to say, but I'm here.
I heard Teddy laughing.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, Teddy's cracking up in the background.
Bad Teddy.
No. Ted and I have a great rapport. Like, it's pretty much if I can make him laugh at any point during the thing here, hey, it's the old adage, laughter is the best medicine. And that's what I like to live by. So even though I'm not feeling 100%, I'm trying to bring entertainment value to everybody, bring smiles to people's faces, laughter in people's hearts, and all that other goody-goody two-shoe stuff.
Triple WA is at the Q-Mart Arena on January 25th in Quakertown with a 6:30 p.m. bell time.
Okay, that's I was gonna say that's a couple of weeks away now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Huh.
ICW New York comes back to New Jersey at the White Eagle Hall in Jersey City with a 6 p.m. bell. Oh, it's 8 p.m. bell time. 8 p.m. on tonight. That is.
Oh,
Killer Cross, Nick Gage, Homicide, and Tessa Blanchard on the card.
Yes, here we go. ICW No Holds Barred Volume 1, I see here, according to the White Eagle Hall page. And from what I see, there's still some general admission tickets available, but everything else looks to be sold out.
What do you expect when you have people like Nick Gage and Tessa Blanchard?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no surprise there at all.
That's like having the WWE having The Rock there to sell tickets.
Yeah, although I don't know if they would necessarily, I don't know. Usually something like that they like to make as a surprise as opposed to, well, it's hard to say. Sometimes they make it a surprise, sometimes they announce in advance, hey, guess who's going to be here.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a great moment.
And if tickets go slow, then they usually throw in the Undertaker.
Oh, they'll throw in whatever they can, absolutely.
Yeah. AEW comes to Newark March 25th. Tickets on sale on January 25th at the Prudential Center.
Yeah, going back up to North Jersey there, and I don't know. Things have definitely changed since a few months ago, so I don't know if I'll be able to make that trek up to the Prudential Center. But it was fun being at Dynamite in the early stages, including the initial show in D.C. and then a couple weeks later, back in October, here in Philadelphia.
Yeah. NXT is in Pittsburgh, January 10th at 7:30 p.m. at Stage A&E.
Yep, the Stage AE, and that is this coming Friday, the 10th.
Friday. GCW is at the Showboat, February 15th in Atlantic City. I don't have the lineup. I don't think they put the lineup together yet.
Well, let's see here. I see that the event's called Run Ricky Run. I don't know if they have... Let's see. It has the USA debut of Takasahi Sasaki and the return of Masashi Takeda. But it doesn't look as though there's much other that's been announced as of yet, but there's still a few weeks to go.
Yes. And Super Crazy getting really into local wrestling. Super Crazy is at the Tolman & Jones next Saturday.
Where was that?
Tolman & Jones in South Philly on Oregon Ave.
Obviously, I don't seem to... Oh, Tolman... Oh, yeah, okay. Huh, I didn't realize that they were going that route now. Okay, that's...
I think they were there before, probably in October. I think they were just testing the waters.
Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, it's looking familiar now that I see the name of it here. Huh, okay. Well, it looks like a fun place there. See what kind of craft beers they have, and I might have to make my way on down there at some point.
And Chicago, I think, is the 18th of January at the Wrestle Factory in Northeast Philly.
Let's see. The next event Yeah, it's going to be the 16th Young Lions Cup on January 18th, 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
Yeah, kicking off their 21st season. Wow, time just flies on by.
Yeah. Any autograph signs for George? I haven't seen any listed lately.
Not that I know of. I mean, usually they're good about announcing those sort of things. They've been focusing a lot on those various quarterly sports cards and collectible shows at the mall. But I don't see that anything has... Yeah, I don't see anything that's been announced, at least fairly recently here as I'm looking. I mean, I'm double-checking their Facebook page, but I don't... let's see here. Technology, it's a wonderful thing. All right, let's see here. Posts, there we go. No, it's been okay. It's been kind of on the quiet side, but yeah, it looks like they've been focusing on the quarterly events and just kind of leaving it at that there. So yeah, I would imagine that maybe they're going to have something else coming up for next month. Because usually they go February, April, June, and October. So maybe they'll have something going around that point.
And Elimination Chamber is tickets on sale already.
Yep, the Elimination Chamber coming here to Philadelphia in early March.
March 8th.
March 8th, yep. That's not too terribly far away. It's crazy how things just fly on by here. It's just... Let me look at it here quickly. It's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 weeks away. 9 weeks from tomorrow.
Get your tickets. They'll go fast.
Yeah. I'm on the fence about it. I mean, I guess I haven't been to an Elimination Chamber before, so I guess it would be good to kind of check that off the proverbial bucket list. Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything about it being sold out necessarily.
And
yeah, no, it does say tickets look to still be available.
That's about it.
All right, Ed. Well, thank you so much for the look at the local scene. Okay, yeah. Ooh, well, all right. If you have that kind of scratch, there's floor seats available, but I don't have over $1,100, so not going to do that. Good to go, though. Yeah, that's just I was just kind of perusing, thinking, but yeah, kind of kick that around a little bit further later. But yeah, that's much appreciated with the look at the local scene, and we'll catch up with you next week or sometime later in the month here.
All
right, thanks, Ed. Ed from Northeast Philly giving us a look at the local scene, getting us all over the place, and it's certainly a good thing here. Now, prior to Elimination Chamber coming up, we've got the Royal Rumble, which always an exciting time of year, and we're still a few weeks away from it, but so far just 4 matches set up, although there's still time. There's the 2 respective men's and women's Royal Rumble matches, which each have 1 announced participant so far out of 30. For the men, Roman Reigns, and for the women, Charlotte Flair. Those events turning about over the course of this past week are those announcements. Plus, the Raw Women's Championship is on the line. It's going to be Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. That should certainly be a goodie. And then for the Universal Championship, The Fiend Bray Wyatt will be defending against Daniel Bryan and continuing that ongoing. Now, with Brock Lesnar set to make a return this coming week, this coming Monday on Raw, it'll be interesting to see what kind of opponent are they going to have for him, and will it more than likely be at the Royal Rumble. But there are a few names that came back last night that weren't necessarily announced and were kind of noted surprises, as The Miz looks to be showing signs of frustration and is Yeah, he's... Sorry, I told you I wasn't feeling all that hot here. The Miz, he's been getting a little frustrated with all the recurring losses and whatnot. He actually attacked Kofi Kingston after losing in their match, and then when a backstage interviewer was attempting to access his locker room or his dressing room, out emerged John Morrison, saying that the Miz wasn't answering any more questions tonight. So, I don't know. Might there be a return of that pairing down the road? Well, I guess we'll have to see regarding that. Also, what we thought was making the save against the Revival as they were double-teaming Chad Gable, a.k.a. Shorty G, but Chad Gable. All of a sudden, out came Sheamus, and we thought, all right, it's going to even the odds here, and nope, goes and delivers a brogue kick to Shorty G, or Chad Gable. And, well, it looks like Sheamus is on the side of being booed. And then at the end of the night, before some more dog food was going to be served up to the big dog, Roman Reigns, out came for the save his cousins, the Usos. Jimmy and Jey Uso are back. And hopefully out of all their legal troubles. I didn't mean that to sound tongue-in-cheek. I legit hope that, that all their legal troubles are resolved. That's where I was going with there. All right. Also, let's see. The Wednesday Night Wars, they are back for Week 14. This time, AEW having a noted victory, running live programming against a taped NXT show. AEW Dynamite producing 967,000 viewers, well up from the 683 grand from 2 weeks ago. NXT, meanwhile, had 548,000 tune in to the year-end special. And as far as those demographics, AEW finishing tied for 12th in that 18 to 49 demographic. NXT finishing tied for 66th. Not a great night for NXT, but things will be back to normal this coming Wednesday. AEW up overall in the head-to-head battle, 9-4 and 1 tie. That tie still boggles my mind a little bit. But along with that victory and what might have created a little bit of intrigue was AEW issuing a press release Monday that Cody, good old Cody Rhodes, has hired on Arn Anderson to be his personal advisor and head coach for 2020. And it mentions in the press release, a member of the world-renowned Four Horsemen and Dangerous Alliance, Anderson holds multiple tag team titles and was a longtime road agent for some of wrestling's biggest stars. This past August, Anderson made a surprise appearance at All Out when he nailed Cody's opponent Shawn Spears with his signature spinebuster. Cody ultimately defeated Spears, who was coached by Anderson's Four Horsemen teammate Tully Blanchard. So you have to wonder, will there be any eventual cohesion between Anderson and Tully, the former brainbusters and horsemen and tag team champions across various promotions? And does that mean, it almost seems too obvious that, considering that Arn Anderson was one of Cody's father, Dusty Rhodes' greatest rivals, the fact that he's now helping out Cody, you feel like, all right, it's more a matter of when, not if, that that Benedict Arnold turning is going to be coming, right? No, is it just me on that? We'll see. All right, coming up, we have some good news for NXT fans over in the UK, and things going bad to worse for a WWE superstar. I get to be very delicate on the other side. Also, we'll talk a little CM Punk and how things could have been about 6 years ago, plus some more nuptial news to get into. And we mentioned Wrestle Kingdom 14, and, well, I won't mention too much just in case, who am I kidding? Twitch is ignoring this and is just solely focused in on Wrestle Kingdom 14, but a couple of things to note from it. Plus, another Broken Skull session coming your way, and we'll tell you who's going to be on that, as well as Corey Graves having some Twitter fun, and we'll tell you at whose expense that is. Thankfully, not getting him in trouble this time, at least not to my knowledge. All that and more. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
Would you risk crossing a street busy with traffic, against the light?
Watch where you're going!
Wearing a blindfold? Probably not. Other risks aren't as obvious, but could be just as deadly, like the risk for type 2 diabetes. Take the free diabetes risk test to learn if you're at risk. Go to diabetes.org/take-the-test or call 1-800-DIABETES and stop diabetes before it stops you. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Experience the spirit of giving when you enter Flowers by Jenny Lynn. Whether it's for a wedding, a birthday, or just an I'm thinking of you, Flowers by Jenny Lynn has the perfect gift. Feast your eyes on the bright hues of the season in their fresh flower department. They also carry a wide variety of flowers daily from around the world, including tropical flowers, wildflowers, roses, and seasonal floral mixes for every taste. Flowers by Jenny Lynn also carries unique gifts, like gourmet jams, candies, and cookies. Serving the area for over 25 years, Flowers by Jenny Lynn is your Fairless Hills florist. Stop by their beautiful shop to see for yourself, located at 100 Trenton Road in Fairless Hills, or check them out online at flowersbygennylynn.com. Give them a call today at 1-800-547-4551. The number again is 1-800-547-4551. Flowers by Jenny Lynn, the art of fresh flowers.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, January 4th. On this date in 1999, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Atlanta, Georgia. In the main event, Hulk Hogan pinned Kevin Nash to win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2010, TNA Impact aired live from Orlando, Florida. In the main event, AJ Styles pinned Kurt Angle to retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2016, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from San Antonio, Texas. In the main event, Roman Reigns pinned Sheamus to retain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2019, New Japan Pro Wrestling held its Wrestle Kingdom 13 pay-per-view. In the main event, Hiroshi Tanahashi pinned Kenny Omega to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, January 4th.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, and man, those bring back some memories. January 4th is a very eventful day in professional wrestling history, not just because of the Wrestle Kingdom with New Japan, but a couple of those events that were mentioned there. 1999, that title change, that was what was known as the infamous Finger Poke of Doom. Yes, the Finger Poke of Doom. For those unfamiliar, those haven't exactly been around as long. That was with WCW. That time, Kevin Nash was the champion and leading the NWO Wolfpack faction, and Hollywood Hogan was part of the NWO Hollywood faction. They had kind of split and branched off some 8 months earlier, and Hogan was kind of out of the he was kind of out of the scene for a few months, and Hogan came back, and well, they were all ready to square up. It was this, meant to be this big marquee matchup, the two feuding factions, and Hogan just pokes Nash in the chest with his finger, and Nash theatrically throws himself down to the mat and allows Hogan to pin him, and well, that reunited both NWO factions into one villainous group, and it allowed Hogan to regain the championship. Now, that was also the same night where Tony Schiavone had noted what was going on Raw, as it was taped 6 days earlier, noting that Mick Foley, as Mankind, was going to win the WWF title, and had hilariously noted or sarcastically noted that would put a lot of that'll put a lot of butts in the seats. And lo and behold, that revelation, it was meant to keep people watching Nitro. 600,000 viewers changed the channel to watch Mick Foley win the title. So that is that's. It just goes to show sometimes the greatest plans don't quite always work out. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, the finger poke of doom. Some people kind of call that that was the peaking point that led to the change that ultimately would begin WCW's downfall and the Monday Night Wars to end some 2 years later, a little more than. So yeah, it was it left a negative taste in everybody's thing. And then, of course, from 2010, that was the first of 10 weeks of live TNA Impact. That was when they tried to revamp the Monday Night Wars, and it was more of a Monday Night skirmish, a kerfuffle maybe. It did not last long, and Impact ended up going back to Thursdays, and things kind of that was all she wrote from there. Most certainly was. Oh, Ted chiming on in here. Kerfuffle. Yeah, you heard kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
Yeah. It's one that won't get me in trouble with the FCC. No.
Not at all. Just pull up a chair and
pull up a chair and listen. Okay. Now he's he knows that I'm a little under the weather, so he's kind of he's warming up in the pen. Exactly, warming up in the bullpen here. All right, and it's probably good because he'll keep me in line with this next story here. As things seem to have got. This was reported earlier in the week, and as soon as I'd seen the story, I went, "Oh man, I got to talk about this on Saturday." But we've talked about those Hulk Hogan tapes in the past. We've gotten into other adult-themed controversies, and this one goes in a completely different direction. So things seem to have gone from bad to worse for WWE's Lars Sullivan over the course of the past 9 months. Going back to last May, where WWE issued a $100,000 fine to him, and he was required to undergo sensitivity training for racist and homophobic comments he had posted on message boards prior to working for the company. Then a month later, he suffered a knee injury from which he's still recovering. However, the latest issue is definitely insult added to injury. Apparently, the comments for which he was fined weren't the only skeletons in Sullivan's closet. Fans had uncovered some old video work that he had done years ago prior to working for WWE under a pseudonym Mitch Bennett. And those videos were of an adult entertainment nature. And here's the twist. They were all male videos. Okay, I was doing that sarcastically because, WWE went with a shock thing with Liv Morgan and Lana, the whole lesbian. Yeah, no. But there is a bit of a double standard when it comes to that, as when Liv Morgan was professing her love to Lana, pretty much every male in the crowd was chanting, yes, yes, yes. But they're all having more disparaging remarks toward Lars Sullivan, partly because of the irony of him having these homophobic comments but being involved in intimate activities for pay.
Worded very well.
Yes. You were waiting too. You were like, "Uh-oh, how's he gonna?" No, you know I got it.
I knew you had it. I was just waiting to see.
You're waiting to see how I would tiptoe. Yes. But yeah, no. I'm kind of torn on it. I know that Lars Sullivan, he was supposed to have a monster push and supposed to be very heavily featured, but he ended up leaving Raw one time due to anxiety issues. I can only imagine what the news of the surfacing of these videos are going to do to his anxiety. So in that regard, I am concerned for him. I know most people are expecting me to be like, "Ha, serves him right." Now I'm throwing curveballs here. I don't have the heaters right now, so I'm throwing every piece of junk I can think of at him, Skipper, to take the major league line. Knew you'd appreciate that. Good old Harris from the first Major League movie. But yeah, I mean, Sullivan probably won't be back until at least after WrestleMania, maybe not until the summertime. I think now they're kind of regrouping and going, all right, what do we do about this? So maybe there's a little more time in the proverbial war room to figure all that out. But now to some good news, now that I've sweat my way out of that, and here I thought it was just the fever. Good news for NXT fans in the UK, and not just about NXT UK. The network BT Sport has announced that it will air the NXT television series live in addition to WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown. And the NXT UK TV series will also be available on BT Sport. So those of you late-night owls in the UK, have fun watching that. Because, I mean, if it's live here at 8 p.m. Eastern, that would be on there at 1 a.m. Eastern starting. Kind of like what we had with Wrestle Kingdom this morning. So now we know, yeah, it's almost England going, ha, now you know how it feels. A little bit. And, well, unless you do what Twitch did and just wait until you wake up in the morning and then watch it. Or, in his case, almost afternoon and watch it. I should text him back and ask what match he's on currently, but nah.
Did he record it?
Well, it's a pay-per-view on demand, so yeah, he can just, like, he already put out the money for it, so he can just start from the beginning and he's good to go. He has to avoid the internet for while he was sleeping to avoid spoilers. And that also means not listening into here, although I didn't really get into any spoilers. I just mentioned that it happened. I did mention that there were I'm going to mention now there were 3 title changes, but there were 4 title matches. So which one was it? You'll have to watch and find out. And it also marked the first of 2 retirement matches for Jushin Thunder Liger, who has been a staple in professional wrestling for the last 3 decades plus. And there were this is amazing. There were tributes that were tweeted out by Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well as AEW. Ring of Honor paid tribute by releasing his ROH match with Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, from Weekend of Thunder back in 2004. Even fast food chain Arby's had a post thanking Liger for his career. Wow. Yeah. Whoever runs the social media for Arby's, they have somebody who's in tune with pro wrestling, so they'll put some wrestling-related tweets out there. So it's just like when you think professional wrestling, you don't necessarily think Arby's. Although their slogan is "We have the meats," and I know Vince has talked in a lot of different contexts about having a lot of beef out there in the ring. So there is a little bit of correlation. Why they haven't worked that into some sort of a deal as of yet, I don't know. I'm guessing it's because Vince is kind of tunnel visioning a little bit, or at least diverting. He's got 2 different tunnels going on because he's got to get ready for that new football league that's starting in 5 weeks. Yeah, the XFL.
Arby's is giving him free plugs, so why pay?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, in this case, it wasn't a WWE. Yeah, no, it's... No, in this case, it was more for an individual wrestler as opposed to a company. So I guess that's how they kind of avoid that. It's like anything. If like we had talked about, we just talked about Major League. It's just favorite things, not necessarily any kind of advertising. Because if you haven't seen it, I'm not giving any spoilers because it's 30 years old plus at this point. 80 something now. I don't remember. 88, 89, somewhere in there. Is that when that came out?
I think the Major League.
The first one.
Yeah, I think it was 89, 88.
Somewhere in there, yeah. But I'm digressing. Doesn't feel as good as when Denny does it. See? But yeah, CM Punk. So he took to Instagram to post what was an internal booking sheet from back in early 2014, indicating that he was supposed to face Triple H at WrestleMania 30 before he abruptly left the company. That was what led to the whole lawsuit and the Thanksgiving podcast and his long time away from WWE and the Z-Packs and the doctor lawsuit, all that stuff. But he had noted on his Instagram story he'd been doing some spring cleaning when he found the paper, joking that he also found the bone chips that were removed from his elbow in 2010 by Dr. James Andrews. But yeah, the internal card, so this is what WrestleMania 30 was supposed to look like. It was going to be Batista against Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which both of them did end up competing in a triple threat match. More on that later. Supposed to be Punk against Triple H. It was supposed to be The Undertaker against Brock Lesnar, which did happen. You're supposed to have John Cena against Bray Wyatt. That happened. Daniel Bryan against Sheamus. Interesting. I guess it's a rematch based off of the 18-second match that they had the WrestleMania pre-show a year or two prior. The Big Show versus Kane because Vince needs his battle of the big men. And former Shield members colliding in Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose for the United States title. What ended up actually happening, well, they ended up having a 4-way tag team title match with the Usos, Los Matadores, Ryback, and the Real Americans. You had Daniel Bryan against Triple H to advance to the main event, where Bryan would go on to win the World Heavyweight title. That was part of Yeselmania, as it was known. You had the Shield facing off against Kane and the New Age Outlaws, so that was them getting a little classic return. The Big Show was part of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and Cesaro ended up winning that. That was the first of those, and then Cena and Lesnar won their respective matches against Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker, and that was when everybody was shocked because The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania came to an end. That was, many years that he had. I think he was, at that point, he was 18-0 at WrestleMania. So, 18 years between 1990 and then back in 2014. Craziness. And then, AJ Lee retained the WWE Divas title in the Vicky Guerrero Invitational with a whole bunch of different women's wrestlers, but we don't have that much time. Also, to the nuptial news that we were talking earlier, it looks like Andrade and Charlotte Flair, they are going to tie the knot, as Andrade popped the question this past week, and he tweeted on New Year's Eve, she said, "See." So congrats to the couple, and may their wedding go much better than Lashley and Lana's. And in other engagement news, former WWE Divas champion Nikki Bella and her former Dancing with the Stars partner Artem Chigvintsev, easy for me to say, not good with the Russian names. They're engaged to be married. Nikki taking to Instagram yesterday and revealing that Artem proposed back in November while they were in France. She had written, "Excited for 2020 and the next decade with you, Artem. I said yes in France in November. We've been trying to keep it a secret, but really wanted to share our excitement for the new year." And, wow, time is really going short. The Steve Austin Broken Skull Sessions, looks like the next guest is going to be Kane. Or Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee now, because he's moved into politics. And finally, Corey Graves having a little Twitter fun, responding to a tweet from Renee Young. She was heading to Tokyo to watch Wrestle Kingdom, specifically her husband Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose. And he was competing for the IWGP US title. She tweeted, "Things to do in Tokyo? Hit me up." And then Graves responded, "Renee to New Japan Pro Wrestling, confirmed." And then hilariously, Sasha Banks, who's had her trouble with WWE, she added a response, "Take me with you." We'll have to see about that. All right, we've got not even 2 minutes, so it's time for...
Birthday!
All right. 1 + 3 Brucey bonuses. On this date in 1958, James Manley was born, the former WWF wrestler best known as Jim Powers, one half of the Young Stallions with Paul Roma. He turned 62 today. And another event that I probably could have thrown in the wrestling history, on this date in 1999, former pro wrestler Jesse the Body Ventura was sworn in as governor of Minnesota. Little politics there. Now to the Brucey bonuses. 3 things outside of the world of wrestling. On this date in 1957, Patricia Lee Ramey was born. The country music star with chart toppers including Timber, I'm Falling in Love, Chains, Blame It on Your Heart, You Can Feel Bad, and Lonely Too Long, known as Patty Loveless, turned 63 today. On this date in 1960, John Michael Stipe was born. The singer and songwriter and best known as the lead singer of R.E.M. He turned 60 today. Everybody hurts sometimes. And on this date in 1992, Christopher Lee Bryant was born. The MVP third baseman and outfielder for the Chicago Cubs. He turns 28 today. Yeah, wouldn't mind getting him here, but I don't think they're letting him go. Yeah.
Too expensive.
Yeah, a little too pricey, exactly. But Ted, you're up next with the Country Roads show, the full 5 hours. Country Roads Spotlight artist?
Is composer Earl Hagen, who wrote a lot of TV.
Earl Hagen, okay.
including the Andy Griffith Show.
Ah, very good. I'll be whistling that on the way out of here. Play us out, Nutsy. We'll see you next week.
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 14.